Oh my God, it's been 3 whole years.
What?
I'm Brandon,
And I'm Tiffany.
and we don't have to do a disclaimer.
Well, because we're not, air quotes here, writing anything.
No, as far as I'm aware.
At least not this episode. Next time, for sure.
But yeah, thank you for, if you've been here the entire time, thank you for listening to us for 3 whole years.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's been 3 years.
In which, yeah, what we started as a hobby, and we're still
Still a
doing
hobby.
this every Sunday for the last 3 years, which is very impressive.
I mean,
It's commitment.
I'm really bad at keeping up with habits and hobbies and things. So, yeah, I'm proud of this.
Oh, but yeah, something new we've did this year that was different from previous years was we're trying to find new sources of
New and exciting
prompts.
ways to come up with ideas.
Which one of them was the whole card drawing thing.
Mhm.
We started that Noseboard Quest deck thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. There are a lot of just generic quests, if
There
I
are
remember
some
correctly,
Definite generic ones in there.
and
And
a lot of
then
mundane things.
the last time we pulled from what we were calling the horror deck, we realized it's horror and mystery.
Yeah,
So it's not all scary stuff.
which we also did the deck for horror and mystery deck for our Questober
Mhm.
and all that stuff. It's like I said, it's just all right. It
Yeah.
doesn't provide anything super unique. I think that most of it is mundane kind of quest prompts.
Yeah, they're good filler quests.
But the problem is like I do like something that will inspire us to do a unique thing or give us some headway of direction.
Yeah.
While too mundane, and I've complained about this every time we get a mundane thing. When it's directionless, it's harder, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it's really hard when it's just like,
You could go
help,
anywhere.
I
Yeah.
need help on my farm. Okay, cool. What do you do with that?
I want to move furniture.
Yeah.
At least with that one, we actually came up with something. But
We usually try to spin it some way.
it's harder when you could go 360 degrees any direction.
But on
And-
the opposite spectrum of that, when a quest has too many specific things in it, it really limits us on what we can do, limits our creativity.
True.
If it's just help me move furniture, we can go anywhere with that. And we did. We went somewhere.
I find, me personally, I find constraints better because I now know the zone of the playfield I'm working with,
Yeah.
instead of an entire just like county size
Right.
field because I could do anything.
Okay, so you like directed gameplay instead of open world maps.
No, I like restrictive puzzle solving when I know the limitations and I work within limitations to problem solve.
See, I'm a sandbox fan.
Again, I'm not talking about video games itself.
I know.
I'm talking about problem solving skills.
Yeah.
When you know you could only do a certain thing, how do you solve it then?
Okay.
You don't agree with me, but okay.
We can agree to disagree.
So yeah, we did that. We did the pop-up dungeons because I
very much
started
enjoyed
that, and then we even talked to. I sent a message to the original creators through Kickstarter and told them it's like, hey, yeah, I have a podcast and all that stuff. We made an episode about this thing that I got from you, and then I sent them a link to the YouTube video and all
Cool.
that stuff, and they were really appreciative and all that.
That's awesome.
Asked if they could share around. They didn't like shout us out, but I'm sure it's like showing everyone else who helped design
Oh, yeah.
our episode.
I
think that's what it
really,
was.
really enjoyed the pop-up dungeons. They're so cute,
I still haven't gotten to use them as a game
right?
because we keep playing Monster of the Week.
You could use them for Monster of the Week just to give us a visual.
I will have to think of a scenario for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, that was a very unique thing. That's going to be super rare for us to do stuff like that because it's not very often that we have something like that.
Yeah. Although I do enjoy getting new things for D&D, even though I am not currently a DM and don't necessarily have any plans to be one, I am fully set up to be one. I have so many things.
I mean, I think we've proven for both of how our minds work. We're always coming up with things
Yeah.
on or off this podcast,
Hmm.
where I sometimes use some of the things on this podcast as a inspiration.
Right.
But I've always come up with like different scenarios, different things, different campaigns, and all that stuff. So I'm always ready to be a DM.
Nice.
But I'm also the kind of person that's like, oh, I'll do it in my head. I don't do that much quote unquote prep work.
Gotcha.
A lot of it's just like, oh, I generally know what to do.
Kind of, sort of. Just roll with the punches.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun too.
But then again, I keep reminding myself every time I do that, especially in our tabletop RPG group,
Yeah.
you guys are very much, I need direction pointed or else I don't know what to do instead of a sandbox
Yeah.
mode. And so then I'm like, well, I can't just like roll with whatever they plan on coming with, like anything they decide to do on a whim, because they won't do anything on a whim. I have to point them in the direction that
Yeah, there is
for them
that.
to do.
I need like a sparkly beacon in the distance for me to be like, maybe that's the main quest that I can avoid and go this way.
Which is really funny because I remember one of the games, the campaign that you were the DM of,
Mm-hmm.
I was the only one that's like, oh, let's do this side thing. Let's do this side thing. Because I was the only one who's willing to just like say, hey, let's do something silly.
Yeah.
Because everyone else is too afraid to like deviate at all.
Right. And I was ready to roll with the punches, sort of.
Uh,
That was my first time actually DMing, so I was a little scared of you guys going off script, per se.
Oh, no. From the years I've played with you guys, I could tell you will never go off script except for me. I'm the only one who's willing to actually do that. Unless I play a passive character, which I did in the later part of that campaign.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually back to our actual podcast.
What?
One other thing, you were in Japan,
I did.
and
I
so I
went
had to
Japan.
have a replacement to you for one episode,
Yeah.
which Tyler was gracious enough to actually join in and all that stuff, which was, I will have to say, I really like that quest.
Yeah, it was a good one. I remember listening back to it and being like, oh man, these guys are great. Well, at least if I ever quit the podcast, he has a good stand-in.
Well, to be fair, I've been friends with him longer than I've been friends with you.
Fair.
But what was it like, if you remember, what was it like of just, oh, now you're listening to two people that's not you
It was just
on our podcast?
it was more like just listening to a podcast, not listening to myself in a podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was just, I don't know. It was fun to listen to.
Well, that's good.
Throwing that out there. Yeah.
Our format is good enough for you to listen
I didn't
to.
have to do the mental trick in my brain to make myself not hate my own voice.
Or did you subconsciously do it like, oh, I sound like a man?
I already think I sound like a young boy.
Is there any favorites that you have for this year?
It was the pop-up dungeons one. I really enjoyed that, getting to see different like angles of it and getting to come up with fun storyline for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just really like pop-up books.
That is like one of the things I remember. That one was, like I said, with high constraints where we had 3 locations and we had to have it somehow make sense for all of them.
Yeah, that one did have some very
And that's what
strong
I like,
constraints.
where it's just like, oh, it was very challenging of trying to make all of them work together and not have the tavern being the starting one, because I just want to be different.
Yeah, it is interesting to not start in a tavern.
But we made the ending in a tavern, which I think was a pretty good one, where they were catching the aftermath of a goblin raid
Yeah.
and all that stuff. I thought that was a great intro for like a one shot for like new players and all that stuff.
That would be, yeah.
Because it's like very intense action instead of, oh, quiet in the beginning and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh god, people are being attacked. We gotta feel like the heroes and save them.
Oh, would you look at that? Goblins.
That tavern's on fire. Not good.
Someone's fallen into the river in Lego City.
Oh god, that meme. I think that meme's dead by now.
No memes die in my brain.
What else happened this year?
I mean,
Oh, you know what I really loved?
Huh?
Was Questober, Quest to Remember.
oh yeah.
That was our spin-off of a false Hydra.
Yeah.
And I just love the what we decided like at the last like 3 minutes of the episode, we're like, then this quest never happened. You never talk about it, and you just like the unsettling fear is the player's meta knowledge where
Yep.
you're gonna completely ignore it.
Mhm.
And I thought that was like such a really cool way to mess with your players that I really liked it at the very end.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I love it when at the very end of the episode, we're all of a sudden just like, but what if this happened? And it just completely changes everything.
It's so funny because you could hear in our voices we got excited at the end.
Yeah. All of a sudden, we're super excited about this thing, and it's just like a few minutes left in the episode, and we just changed everything.
Yeah, where it's just like, no combat whatsoever. And then just a sudden, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, that is pure horror
Mm-hmm.
on a meta standpoint.
Yeah.
In characters, not so much, but you're supposed to scare your players.
Yes.
And that one will definitely do it
for sure.
if they take you seriously.
Well, yes.
Besides that, oh God, I'm looking over this list of Rats and Men. That was the one where we finally rolled the one that I had an idea from the very beginning. And then that idea got shot down.
Only took us 135 tries.
It was a low number. I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember it got shot down. It was like, okay, well, this isn't happening.
Well, it still sort of happened. We kind of mixed ideas.
We turned it into rat folk being Mormons.
Yeah. Rat Mormons. No,
being
like no commentary on Mormons making them rat people. I think rats are adorable, personally.
No, it was a play off of my original idea.
Yeah.
And sort of combination with the random thing you came up with on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, I realized that it was a story of how Mormons were migrating to the West, and that's the founding of Salt Lake City. And so then we went with it.
Right.
It was so weird.
Speaking of lakes, to segue into something, episode 106, 2025, A Lake Odyssey. I vaguely remember that one, but I also remember I really liked the prompt for that one, which was from Rollin' at 20.
That was the random sigils on the farm animals.
Yeah.
And we put an alien research facility in the like
in the bottom of the lake,
pond or lake or whatever on his farmland.
And it went such a weird direction from, because we were trying very hard not to make it another cult.
Yeah, because I remember super old episode Bahamut. I think we were just trying to avoid that as much as possible.
Yeah, another sheep cult. Except it's cows this time.
And so we did like a testing research thing for aliens. It was so weird. I can't remember if this was a Monster of the Week or if it was a D&D thing. If we did in the our world or the fantasy world. I couldn't remember.
Usually the way we set things up is they can be slightly tweaked to fit in just about any campaign setting.
Sometimes
or
we lean towards one.
Yes. I don't remember on that one. It could have even been Call of Cthulhu.
True. We could have. I can't remember. Listen to that episode.
Yeah, go back and listen to it and let us know.
Actually, right after that one was Spore Loser, if you remember that.
I don't.
That's the one where a apothecary or someone went missing, and the party went to find them, and it was just like a feud between the apothecary of that town with the other one over a mushroom.
Oh, right.
And then they were like fighting because it's like a rare mushroom or a discovery or something like that.
Like a new mushroom discovery.
And then the other village also hired a different adventuring party for them.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And then they're like, the two mushroom people are like super obsessed with like who gets that.
Yeah, we were trying to convince them to leave.
The party has to convince them to leave or possibly kill the other or something like that. And it was just a stupid feud between a mushroom.
Or make the mushroom magically disappear.
I think that's one of the options we said. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But that was a funny, just like...
That is funny.
Feud for a silly thing that people wouldn't consider that serious.
Mushrooms are important.
I think you said that in that. That sounds like something you would say.
Weird. I give you that, though.
What else did we do? Oh, Hannah was also a part of one episode.
Yeah. We usually
the Diary of a Goth Girl.
We usually try to bring her on at least once a year.
Episode
Speaking of longtime friends, that's my longtime friend.
The funny thing about that is like I love what we came up with that, which is just following the diary of a goth girl to lead to Treasure, who is complaining about the entire voyage
Right.
because her dad's the like famous like treasure hunter or something that's
Yeah.
like going to hide his wealth, and she's just being complaining about being dragged along, and
And
that's
you have
how
to figure out where they are from her very brief mentions of tiny little bits here and
yeah.
there. Like, ugh, you made me go through a swamp today. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I thought that was just so funny.
Yeah.
That one actually inspired me to have a campaign idea.
Uh-oh.
I told you about this campaign idea where
I
it's
promptly forgot.
the players are all kids, like teenagers or kids,
And now I
uh,
remember.
of an actual adventuring party, and
Yeah.
none of you want to be adventurers, but they're dragging you along
Uh-huh.
because it's like, hey, look, this is fun. You
Eh,
can go
eh.
exploring.
Bonding.
And so then the entire party is just like acting like angsty teenagers who doesn't exactly want to do it, or they're trying to be forced into a class that's really not them.
Yeah, all of their parents are trying to force them to be the class that they are, but they really want to be something else.
It's like I think the most stereotypical one is like if you were a wizard
Mhm.
character and your dad is a fighter or a barbarian, it's like, no, you gotta punch it. It's like, I'm not really punching
Insert buff
things.
wizard.
And it's like that kind of dynamic
Yeah.
where it's like nerdy son
or vice
and jock
versa.
father.
Your parent is a wizard, but you really want to be a fighter, but
Yeah.
they forced you to learn spells, so that's
Well-
literal insert buff wizard.
Well, that's an Eldritch Knight.
Yeah.
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 But
A friend of mine actually played that once.
yeah, I thought that would just be a funny campaign.
Yeah.
And so that episode inspired me to make that kind of, or think of that kind of campaign.
That'd be fun to play.
Maybe one of these days.
Yeah.
It will always be on the back burner.
Mhm.
So, but besides that, was there any good character jams this year? We did a little sense of that was for
That
May
was
the
a Star
4th,
Wars one,
yeah.
yeah.
I remember we had double dipping druids.
We have the Remnant and the Piece of 8.
What was that? I can't remember that one.
I know. I don't fully remember that one.
Oh,
So you're
I
the one that
remember the
came up-
piece. I remember the piece of 8.
I was going to say, you're the one that knew that saying.
Well, that's a currency thing.
Yeah.
But I remember that one was the character was super main character syndrome, where they were a living weapon or something like that, and then there was 8 others that are like avatars.
Oh, right,
And then
right. Yeah.
It's a put together to reconstruct a goddess or something
By
like
your
that.
powers combined.
But that's if they're willing to give it up and all that stuff.
Right, and
It-
your character's not willing.
No, your character's like, oh, this needs to be put away instead of used or anything like that kind
It
of thing.
belongs in a museum.
Yeah, I suddenly remember that one.
Yeah. I don't know. That just made me think of saying it belongs in a museum.
We don't really remember a lot of.
You remember more than I
character jams.
do?
There was character jams, party starters.
Yeah. We also had one episode called Party Crashers.
Which
It's
one was
108.
that? Well, that's just a regular episode. I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
remember what happened in
Yeah,
that.
I don't remember exactly what happened. I just noticed it because it's right
Oh.
next to another party starter.
Wait.
Huh?
Okay, I don't know if it's this one. Party Crasher sounds like the one where they had to be bodyguards for a party and it was their fan club.
Oh. Right.
Or
they
was
didn't
that
No,
was
they
that
didn't
a different one?
Oh, maybe.
That might have been a different episode. I know we did an episode of that where it was like they realized that they were in the attending a party as a bodyguard and everyone at the party is like their super fan. It was like super creepy and awkward.
I'm looking at the actual episode description for that one, and all we have is bucket jokes. So don't rain on my bucket parade.
I cannot remember.
And then all other parties pale in comparison. PAIL.
Oh well. Sometimes it's interesting to hear what we came up with without remembering what it was about. Hey guys, I re-listened to Party Crashers, and it was actually about a annual bucket party at a small village in which when the party attends, then someone else was going to sabotage it so that they could be the host next year. So that was what that episode was about.
So here's fabulous proof that we do not remember half, probably good more than half of what we do.
It's been 3 years.
And this is all within the last year.
Yeah, but I'm also retaining some information from the previous years.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So
this is why if we ever do something again, that's why.
Oh, this is one of my favorite ones.
What do you got?
You're not gonna like it. I know this is not one of yours. Episode 130, D&D and D&D.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember what that one's about.
That was the one about me trying to constantly explain to you the fourth dimension.
Oh, right. That one gave me such a headache.
And I thought it was really cool and really awesome.
No, it is
and
cool.
A great idea.
I don't dislike that
one.
one.
Constantly trying to explain to you to wrap your mind around what is the fourth dimension.
Like, at the end of that episode, I literally had a headache. It's not a term of speech. I had an actual headache.
But it's not that hard to figure out about what it is.
For you.
We're not going to get into this.
No. We're not going to go back into that. I don't want another headache. But, yeah, that one was kind of fun. I give you that.
It was really clever and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. What about Adventures in God Setting?
Oh, one of the more recent one. That's the one where it was a falling star.
Yeah, and they had to, like, babysit a god that could, like, derail everything if they threw a tantrum.
Well, any emotion.
Yeah.
And
any emotion strongly?
Any strong emotion, all that stuff. Immature God.
Yeah, that was little kids don't know how to deal with emotions. They're big things and they're only little.
We made a celestial like pantheon where it's all stars and all that stuff. Yeah, that was a good one.
That was kind of fun.
You know what I really liked was a recent one. Moving sucks because I've always hated the mundane jobs.
Right.
And now we have a cop out. And I'm going to try to remember that we always now have a cop out where it's just like, this is a job that's saying a vampire is trying to track people to attack them.
Yeah. I mean, earlier when we were mentioning, oh, yeah, no, there's a lot of interesting ones out there. Then you get the mundane ones like moving furniture. That's what we're talking about. That's the episode that started it all.
Well, I'm just glad that we had that epiphany. So now we actually have a direction when it comes to that stuff.
Right.
If we want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me feel better because I complain every time we got a mundane one.
Right. Another one I did enjoy making was The Party Who Knew Too Much.
Oh, isn't that the that was the
one
spies? Right.
Where they start out as spies, but then they get betrayed, and then they become wanted. Right?
No. That was the one where they became spies. They go over to a different kingdom, act as adventurers and all that stuff, and then relay information.
Gotcha.
And then they realize that the side that they were a part of
right.
was doing some like war crimes, atrocities.
They
and
realize that they're the bad
baddies.
guys.
Yes.
Okay.
That was the party who knew too much.
Sorry, I took that as being betrayed.
Morally, maybe.
Yeah. I thought that was a very interesting way to run a campaign, to suddenly realize, hold up, we're the bad guys?
It's always funny to make the party.
Especially if you have a party full of goody two-shoes like me.
Okay, to be honest, I would be hesitant if I did it to goody two-shoes like you, because I feel like you will feel so bad about it afterwards. Like, I don't want to force you into, like, to do something that you would not enjoy, and then you won't enjoy the rest of the campaign after the twist. I would
enjoy the twist, and then after that, I would strive to actually do the right thing and question every quest given to us.
I just think, like me personally, I will feel way too guilty. If I would only do that to someone who I know that they're fine if, for role-playing purposes, they would do that.
I give you permission in the future to do something like that to me, because I'm aware it's a game.
We might have been talking about this in the episode too.
Yeah.
This sounds somewhat familiar.
So, okay, if I'm saying it again, I'm saying it again. You have permission to do this kind of thing to me, because that just sounds like really fun plot line things.
Oh, you know what else we like? What was a good one? Luck of the Draw.
Oh, yeah?
That was the one where the random guy pulls from a deck of many things, and then we had the party go to basically the underworld and fight the fantasy version of the ferryman.
Was that the one where he draws the void?
Yes. Yeah. And then we determined that our version of the ferryman created that so that he could with souls without
Right.
the god of death knowing.
Like skimming off the top.
Yeah, and all that stuff. And then it's like, oh, now they have to go to the underworld in order to find the soul. And
Yeah,
all
and
that
we
stuff.
actually found a stat block for a type of demon or something that
I think we also
uses
realized
souls.
after the episode that that was a custom stat block,
Oh, yeah, probably.
but it still was really good. So
It still really worked
we
out.
didn't say anything about it.
Yeah, it's fine. Custom stat blocks get pretty cool.
Yes, but they're also a chance of being overpowered and
True.
ridiculous and not actually fair.
Very true.
So,
But, I mean, any DM just has to know that sometimes they have to adjust on the fly. Maybe the creature is like too weak to deal with the party and they're getting taken out really quick, and all of a sudden, oh no, they're
they have more health.
back to full health. What happened?
No, you don't say anything.
No, you're just doing that in your head. I had to do that a couple of times with you guys.
Oh, I have to. You guys were just rolling really well.
And then there's other times where we are not rolling well at all and nearly die.
I don't feel guilty about those.
Of course you don't.
I'm trying to remember because I'm looking over a list. Monster Spotlight, episode 112, Lost Unicorn.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the one, speaking of deck of many things, wasn't that the one where a unicorn drew a deck of many things and then turned chaotic evil?
Was it that one? I remember editing that episode because I took a picture of a unicorn and then inverted the colors on it.
Well, it is a Monster Spotlight.
Yeah.
You usually do that for Monster Spotlight.
Exactly.
So it might be that one. That one was kind of funny.
Yeah, it is fun to think about something normally seen as good and pure and just corrupting the heck out of it.
I think we also like gave the dilemma of like, okay, you could quickly kill it.
Yeah.
And it'll be easier.
Mhm.
Or you could track down another deck of many things and have it draw and somehow switch back. I think
Yeah.
we also said like, oh, you could also
I think
change the fates or wish spell to get them back or something. I can't remember. But yeah, that one was an interesting one. I always like the quest that we make a dilemma
Yes.
where
Give them a moral choice.
the easier one is not always the most satisfying morally.
Right.
But if you put in more extra effort, then you can have a better one.
You reap better rewards.
I wouldn't say like, better rewards. Actually, I think
Better moral rewards.
yes.
Not necessarily shiny things to play with.
In video games, it's usually do the evil thing and you get the new shiny thing.
Yeah.
But if you don't do it, then you feel good about yourself.
Right.
And so that's usually a dilemma video games do.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I get the shiny thing.
Oh, I leave the shiny thing. I don't want to do evil.
Well, it depends on how good the shiny thing sounds.
Oh, you mean like that book from Solasta that we had to put back?
I still miss that book.
Hmm.
Yeah, we've been playing Celesta together.
Yeah, there's this book you can get and you can hold on to it for a little bit, and we couldn't figure out how to keep it. That puts all your stats to 20, which is amazing. But then, like, you try to carry on the storyline, they're like, "You stole our book. Put it back, and we'll let you in." It's like, no.
I don't know how to segue this, but since we talked about our favorite ones,
Oh
is
yeah,
there any least favorite ones?
that's the problem. I don't remember them.
I'll tell you flat out what my number one least favorite one is.
What you got?
The Questmare Before Christmas.
Oh yeah,
Because that one was like, we tried to do a horror
but we drew
for
a mystery
Christmas,
card,
but we drew a mystery card, like you said.
and that's
in
when
the
we
beginning.
found out that there's mystery in this deck.
And so I
too.
was super disappointed in that episode. I
Yeah.
did not like it.
Well, it didn't come out scary as we wanted it to.
Yeah, and we weren't going to re-record.
No.
And so it's just like, okay, this.
I
but
don't think we've ever re-recorded an
no.
episode.
No, we have not.
Everything is one take. It's live reactions,
Besides
Ish.
me editing some like ahs, and dead
long,
air
awkward silences,
as we Google something. Yes.
or try to think of what next thing to say.
But yeah, that one I really did not like. I was not happy with. I'm gonna just admit it now. And it's just like the initial thought was really cool because that would be funny.
Yeah,
But then it just did not execute well.
it didn't pan out. And
No.
I only remember it not panning out. I don't remember anything else about the episode. I don't
It was
remember
the map
details.
that's like oh, if you put a pin in it, then there are holes,
Oh,
and like
right.
everything,
Yeah.
anything that happens to the map happens in the
Yeah, that's
town.
more like kids episode of
It
a
was a
mystery show
I said it.
type
I
thing,
remember I
not
said it in the
scary.
episode. It's a great MacGuffin to give to the beginning of a campaign,
It
so
is a good
that you
MacGuffin.
could give them future things to notice and
Yeah,
then direct them where they need to go. But as a scary quest, not so much.
because it's not scary.
No, and that's why I was super disappointed.
I mean, in the future, I can sift through that deck of cards and filter out the scary versus mystery.
We don't use it that often, so
Yeah, but when we do use it, we want scary.
maybe we'll put a pin in it. Hopefully, it
Because
doesn't cause a sinkhole, but we'll put a pin in it.
womp womp.
Oh, come on, that was a good one.
Yeah, it was actually. But yeah, if I'm the one going through it, I will forget everything because that's what I do.
So, is there any other? Is there any that you could think of that you weren't a fan of, or you didn't like that much? It's
Well, that's the
okay.
thing.
It's okay to be honest. We're not gonna like our feelings won't be hurt.
No, my honesty here is
You
if
don't
I
remember.
don't like it that much, I don't commit it to memory. But if I do like it, I still don't commit it to memory because, yeah.
Okay. Well, the other one that I could think of that I didn't really like was the Questober episode, Taphophobia.
Okay. I don't even remember what tapophobia means.
That was the fear of being buried alive.
Okay.
That was the one where it's just like some guy crawled out of his coffin
Okay.
and then he's wanting revenge. And it was like the mafia kind of thing because he's a cop and then like goes to the party. And then you realize that he was just a vengeful ghost
Right.
and all that stuff. We had somewhat of a like cool idea of like, oh, he was buried with like he discovered like a drug bust or something like that and discovered that there was a mole or within the precinct, and then it caused a huge financial thing, so then the mafia like killed his like wife and kid from him and buried him alive with them in there, and then he crawls out, but then we're like he didn't crawl out, it was his spirit that crawled out.
Right. I remember that now. I mean, I think it's an interesting storyline.
I just didn't think it was that great.
I think it would fit better in a Call of Cthulhu campaign.
We did a Call of Cthulhu, or we made it modern day.
Modern day. Okay.
Yeah, it was either Monster of the Week or Call of Cthulhu.
Okay.
We made it modern day. I was just not the most satisfied with that story.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Like, yeah,
I mean, it's not one I bothered to remember, so. But it's honestly, it's a toss up if I remember things.
I think the other one, because I was making like small notes.
Yeah.
And only having 3 that I could remember is still pretty good for a full year. The other one was All Dogs Get Rescued.
Aw.
If you remember that one, that was the one about a family dog got missing.
It got missing?
Got missing. Yeah, it got taken. And what we determined was like in a like mountaintop area like Crater Lake in Oregon, except for no water,
Right.
that there's a bunch of dogs and there's a guardian angel like at the very center keeping watchful eye,
Right.
thinking that all dogs don't deserve humanity because they've witnessed like some horrible people like abusing dogs or whatever. And so
Right, yeah.
decide to try to save all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was just the dumbest story, like a silly, dumb story that I was just like, this is like such a weird logic jump.
I mean, if it's a being that doesn't really have that much knowledge of humankind and all they've seen is humans
we made
being
it
awful to
archangel.
pretty much.
No, that I think that was the stat block.
Oh, okay. But yeah, all they've seen is just humans mistreating dogs and stuff. Then yeah, I could see them coming to that kind of conclusion.
It was just like it somewhat worked, but I'm just like, this is just it didn't completely sit right with me. I was just I remember that plot and I was just like, But besides that,
I mean, it came down to the party trying to convince the angel to give the dog back because there's no way they're fighting that thing.
I can't remember if like, hey, all players have the option of fighting anything.
True. Surviving it is a different story.
Yes, mostly. Anyways, that was it for what my thoughts were like least favorite, at least.
Yeah, I don't really have any least favorite this year. I feel like we did have
Not even the Questmore, Questmare.
I didn't dislike that one as much.
Oh well.
I feel like we did have one episode this year where we've compared it to our Tin Pot episode
Yes,
of
and
our first year.
I compared it, and it was Questmare.
Oh, it was Questmare. Okay.
I told you that afterwards. I'm like, this is our one a year that makes me feel better about it.
Hey, that was more towards the end of the year, and I don't think it was that bad. So I say this was a good year.
Yeah, I guess. Is there anything else you want to talk about for our recap of the year?
No? Question mark?
Well, I know for the next year, we're gonna still do, of Metal Magic. We're still going to do Roll Nat 20, some prompts.
Yeah,
like
we
that.
absolutely love working with those prompts. They're very interesting.
Maybe we'll have friends on. I don't know.
Most likely, we'll try to keep
They're
bringing friends
adults
on.
with their own lives, so
Yeah.
it's hard.
We'll see. Maybe we'll see if we can get some new guest stars on. You never know.
Maybe.
Maybe we'll collaborate with another creator at some point. We haven't found any yet, but doors are open. Or maybe we'll find some new and interesting D&D or tabletop RPG related like system or device thing, like the pop-up dungeons again, that we can
that's gonna be
feature.
spur of the moment.
Oh yeah,
There's
it's
no
always
way
spur
we
of
can
the moment.
plan that.
It's always just like, hey, look at this, isn't it neat? Can we do something with this?
Maybe.
Yeah, let's try.
So yeah, don't exactly know what we have planned for this year. We don't really look that far ahead, but whatever the case may be, I hope that you guys will continue listening to us, enjoying our content, using our content for any of your games.
Yeah, and let us know if you use it. We want to hear all your
We
stories.
ask about that every session or every episode. So I think with that, thank you for listening to us.
And happy questing.